from the Faye and Alan Kendall Charitable Trust. For more information on how to include Arizona PBS in your estate plan, call 602-496-8888.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Once upon a time, an artist invented new ways to amaze and inspire us and created worlds of pure imagination. With unprecedented access to the Disney archives, Walt Disney on American Experience.
Friday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Alberto Rios. This week on Books and Company, Radha Vatsal talking about her latest book, Murder Between the Lines.
Through her investigations, she learns about different things that are changing in society at the time.
Don't miss Books and Company, Friday night at 11:30 on Arizona PBS.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
I'm David Goldstein, owner of Biltmore Loan and Jewelry. We buy or loan on upscale assets. We have over 30 years of experience in determining values of automobiles, jewelry, art, collectibles, and antiques. For more information and appointments, BiltmoreLoan.com.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
March for Our Lives student organizers voiced their dissatisfaction with Governor Doug Ducey's school safety plan at the Capitol.
And new estimates for President Trump's plan to send troops to the border. We reached out to lawmakers in the Arizona National Guard.
And President Trump says Amazon does not pay enough sales tax. But is that true? A deeper look into Amazon's financial contributions in Arizona.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Nicole Costantino.
And I'm Gabriel Gamino. Thank you for joining us. March for Our Lives student organizers gathered outside the Capitol today demanding better gun control from Governor Doug Ducey. Reporter Emily Richardson explains why they believe Ducey's plan doesn't accomplish enough.
It's real, the fear.
The March for Our Lives students are asking Arizona lawmakers and Governor Doug Ducey to take action and help make a change when it comes to gun violence. Ducey laid out the Safe Arizona Schools plan in March, which proposed the state invest in mental health resources at schools, creating a central tip line to report school safety concerns, creating severe threat orders of protection, enhancing background checks, and increasing school resource officers on campus. But the student organizers say gun violence isn't just an issue inside of schools.
Gun violence is not a school problem. It's not school safety. It's an epidemic.
Kids are killed every day in the streets and their homes, not just in the classrooms, which is all Doug Ducey is focusing his legislation on. And I think that's woefully inadequate for the world that we live in.
The students spread T-shirts on the ground that represented the 73 children who have died from gun violence since the Parkland shooting.
Because of their inaction, 73 kids have died since Parkland and nothing has been done.
They say they have asked not only Ducey, but multiple state lawmakers to discuss a better plan of action in preventing gun violence, but few have responded. Instead, they are holding 2 town halls for our lives on April 7th and encourage Ducey and all state lawmakers to attend.
I implore him and the Republican and Democratic leaders to meet with us and talk to us, because kids are mobilizing, and we're not stopping.
The March for Our Lives students have also planned another day of action on April 20th. In Phoenix, Emily Richardson, Cronkite News.
The town halls will be held on April 7th from 1 to 3 p.m. in both Gilbert and Glendale.
Gabby Giffords is a big advocate for gun control and safety in schools and society. The FBI released photos and footage of the 2011 Gabby Giffords shooting. Among the videos is surveillance footage of the shooter, Jared Lee Loeffner, buying a water bottle from a Safeway a few minutes before the shooting. Giffords and bystanders. Photos included Loeffner's gun safety instruction sheet, which he wrote messages like, quote, "I thought about your future." Other images showed a manila envelope, which he wrote, quote, "These are the first 2 shells out of my gun and priceless." Loeffner is now serving a life sentence, and Giffords is a gun control activist. The Phoenix Union High School District Governing Board plans to vote this afternoon to determine the board's support for the Red for Ed movement. This vote will arrive as a possible teacher strike looms in Arizona. In a statement issued today, the board said they have worked hard to solve the teacher funding issues, only to see the Arizona legislature fail to stop enacting tax cuts that run counter to their effort.
President Donald Trump is offering his first estimates on a military presence at the U.S.-Mexico border. He told reporters today that he wants to deploy between 2,000 and 4,000 National Guard members. Trump is continuing to rally support for his decision. At a speech on tax reform in West Virginia, he said that immigration laws need to change.
We're working out systems now, and we called out the National Guard, and you know, we're doing a real job. But I'll tell you what, the laws of this country have to be strengthened and toughened up because it is crazy.
Cronkite News reached out to the Arizona National Guard. A spokesperson says no orders have yet been received. An emailed response reads, quote, "We cannot elaborate on where or what Arizona National Guard soldiers and airmen may be requested to do. The Arizona National Guard stands ready to carry out the orders of our governor when called upon." Several Arizona politicians have expressed support for this effort. Congressman Andy Biggs released a statement saying, quote, "I support President Trump's decision to deploy National Guard troops to the border. I can continue to fight to fund, begin, and complete a border wall, just as President Trump promised when America elected him." But Representative Ruben Gallegos says this is not a matter of national security.
You're going to pull them out of their private lives to essentially go and try to solve a political problem. This is a failing presidency. Their ideas are failing, so now they're just throwing essentially red meat at their base by, essentially sending troops to the border.
Trump says he plans to keep troops at the border until a large portion of the wall is built.
The Arizona Board of Regents today voted to approve university tuition increases for the 2018-2019 school year. Incoming resident undergraduate students will see a 2% increase in tuition at the University of Arizona and a 3.5% increase at Northern Arizona University. There will be no tuition increases for incoming resident students at ASU. Non-resident students and graduate students will have tuition increases at all 3 universities. It's almost inescapable, the smiling Amazon box that shows up on doorsteps and at businesses every day. But is the company's success due to an unfair advantage? President Donald Trump thinks so. Cronkite News reporter Ariana Bustos looked into one of President Trump's Twitter claims about Amazon and brings us the story from our Washington bureau. Ariana?
The tweets began shortly before 5 a.m. last Friday and continued into this week. President Trump charging that Amazon is not paying enough in taxes or postal fees and criticizing the Washington Post, which is owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. One of the president's beefs with Amazon is that the online retailer pays little to no sales tax to states. But that's not the case in Arizona or 44 other states.
The part that's unequivocally false is the assertion that Amazon doesn't pay state and local taxes. Pretty clearly they do. They pay a lot of income tax on their profits, and they do now collect sales tax on its own sales.
But Matt Gardner, a senior fellow at the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, says that doesn't mean Amazon is paying all the taxes it could.
The part that is true, or has an essence of truth anyway, the part that is true in what the president's been saying on Twitter is that Amazon does avoid paying sales taxes in every way they can.
The Arizona Department of Revenue cannot provide the specifics of any Amazon tax payments due to privacy laws, but said a company that does business in Arizona, like Amazon, would pay the base 5.6% state sales tax rate Amazon is not required to pay local sales taxes or taxes from products sold by third-party merchants not in state. Amazon declined to comment on the issue, but directed us to their page with a list of jurisdictions where they are required to pay sales tax. David Lujan, director at the Arizona Center for Economic Progress, said there are some tax advantages for online retailers, but not many.
They do get some advantages if they're not charging the local sales tax, but in terms of the state sales tax, they're paying that here, so I don't know that they're getting any sort of advantage.
Gardner said it's important to remember that finding tax loopholes is hardly unique to Amazon.
For every company like Amazon that's doing it on a big scale, there are hundreds or even thousands of other companies that are doing exactly the same thing on a smaller scale, including, as has been recently pointed out, the president's own merchandising company.
Oklahoma is considering expanding sales tax collections from Amazon. The Oklahoma House voted yesterday to make Amazon collect sales taxes from its third-party vendors. Amazon says such sales make up more than 40% of its business. Live in Washington, Ariana Bustos, Cronkite News.
A plan to extend the light rail to South Phoenix isn't sitting well with the community.
Coming up on Cronkite News, why they say the light rail could hurt businesses in the area more than help them.
And why a new bill involving service dogs has some Arizonans concerned.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland.
In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
Millions of people die every year from drinking dirty water. I would never have felt I had the ability to do something without ASU pushing me. We built filtration systems out of local materials with the people. To see those kids drink clean water for the first time, it's the most rewarding feeling that you can ever have. I went to ASU because I wanted to change the world. The thing I never would have expected is how the world would have changed me.
The city of Phoenix is getting $2.6 million to get outdated Valley Metro buses off the streets. Phoenix is one of the 139 projects nationwide to receive funding from the Federal Transmit Administration. Phoenix has a backlog of buses that have exceeded their total mileage threshold, but they've stayed in operation due to increased commuter demands.
The light rail expansion will go through despite a 3-hour hearing with business owners and community members. The Phoenix City Council decided to start construction in South Phoenix. Reporter Michaela Moorhead talked to business owners located on Central.
4 lanes will soon be reduced to 2 after council members took a vote last night to start construction on the new light rail section along Central Avenue from Jefferson to Baseline. But not everyone supports the extension. Small business employees like Byron Waldrop, who work in that stretch, are worried their businesses will not survive.
Our businesses that pay taxes, most of us will go away because we just won't have the income coming in anymore. We're going to lose employees. It's going to be devastating.
Construction from the light rail expansion is estimated to be done in 2023. Another local business worker, Celia Contreras, says that is too long.
I cannot afford a 4 years construction. Actually, the light rail, they want to construct in between downtown to Best Line and One Time.
Although many business owners aren't in favor of the expansion, Phoenix City Councilwoman Kate Gallego is hopeful the change will be positive.
I hope it'll be a great chance for people who don't always get to visit Central and South Phoenix to be able to have new connections and be able to get into the neighborhood. So I hope they'll get to try our great restaurants and visit the great shopping.
But Waldrop says businesses are concerned about surviving the short term in order to see whether there will be long-term benefits. In Phoenix, Michaela Moorhead, Cronkite News.
Valley Metro plans to place signs directing traffic to businesses along the stretch.
Engineering students at Arizona State University in the city of Tempe are working to develop affordable micro estates. The plan, called the Humble Homes Project, would build a community of 600 square foot tiny homes consisting of one bedroom, a kitchen, and a living room. The community would be located near Apache Boulevard and Rural Road. A California city is taking the lead in combating plastic waste.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll show you what sustainable methods and restrictions Malibu is placing to keep their beaches clean.
And when are these warmer temperatures going to be going away? I'll tell you coming up.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Arizona's elementary school children will get more time in recess thanks to a new bill signed by Governor Ducey today. The proposal requires schools to provide an additional 15-minute recess on top of the lunch period. The bill has passed through the legislature quickly after teacher and experts cited the physical and mental benefits of playtime. The new requirements would first apply to kindergarten through third grade classes. Fourth and fifth grades will be added in 2019. We may soon have a solution to beat the heat in Arizona by simply using white paint over black asphalt. Scientists who are studying heat issues in urban areas say reducing the absorption of sunlight could lower temperatures. White painted asphalt could reduce pollution, save energy, and cut power bills. Scientists are currently testing white paint roads in parts of California.
It hasn't been long since the controversy over banning the use of plastic bags. The town of Bisbee banned retailers from offering plastic bags to their customers, but a state law lifted the restriction. Now cities across the Southwest are looking toward more sustainable practices. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Book DeGumbia takes us to Malibu to see their policies in action.
I swam out 50 yards, dove underneath, and there was a bunch of garbage on the bottom, all plastic. Straws, plastic bottles, it was bad.
In a city known for its 21 miles of beaches, sprawling mansions, and celebrity residents, Malibu is continuing its fight against plastic waste.
Malibu was one of the first cities in California to ban the use of plastic bags, with the rest of the state following years later. Now the ritzy beach enclave is leading the pack once again, this time restricting the use of plastic utensils.
Matt Meyerhoff participates in California beach cleanups.
Of the things that I picked up myself, probably 90% of them were some sort of plastic. Little bits and pieces of polystyrene foam, like from coffee cup, and mostly takeout food containers.
Starting June 1st, a law will go into effect restricting all 65 Malibu restaurants from providing plastic cutlery to customers. The city is shifting to biodegradable options.
We have metal, we have glass, we have paper, and there's also pasta straws.
Plastic takes up to 450 years to fully decompose. As a result, much of it ultimately ends up in the ocean, causing continuous harm to marine life. This Santa Monica business owner recognized the plastic problem and recently switched to glass bottles. But he doesn't think plastic alternatives will become mainstream for one reason: economics.
It's almost triple the price.
But Malibu officials hope this new law will eventually yield the same kind of results the plastic bag ban has.
And then after a number of years, everybody drives around with the reusable shopping bags in the trunk of their car. And now when you're at the supermarket, you see everybody using them. It's pretty rare for people to actually not have anything like that.
That's what we really want people to do, is you keep a little kit with a fork and a knife and a spoon and a straw in your car, and they have ones in little cases.
Outlawing plastic cutlery and straws is a small step in solving a massive problem. But city officials and residents say they're determined to initiate change.
I'm glad that they really got it done and maybe be a showcase to other cities.
In Malibu, Brooke DeGumbia, Cronkite News.
A crack stretching several kilometers long has appeared in southwestern Kenya. Scientists believe that this is a result of the Earth's plate shifting. This could result in Africa splitting into two continents, but this will not be complete for millions of years. This week has started to feel more like summer than spring. Are these high temperatures going to stick around for long?
These warmer temperatures are going to be sticking around, but thankfully we don't have anything really happening in this state. As you look at satellite radar, there is a system in the Pacific, and that's only going to bring some showers, light showers to the high country. So nothing too big right now, as we can just see that going on. For tomorrow, our day is going to be, for our evening forecast, not tomorrow, let's get to today first. We are going to be seeing those warmer temperatures that we've seen dip down into the low 70s and high 60s throughout the night. We are going to be seeing them in different parts of the country, so in different parts of the state, so it is going to be quite nice. For tomorrow's forecast, here we go. Tomorrow, our high is going to be 90 degrees, mostly sunny with light winds. We are going to be hitting 80 degrees by 9 a.m., so it is going to be a quick warm-up, and our UV index is 9, which is a very high number, so you want to make sure if you're getting outside that you're wearing sunscreen for that as well. For our 7-day forecast, those 90 degrees are going to be sticking around, but on next week, on Thursday, the horizon is near. We are going to be seeing those 80s come back.
A new bill could enforce proper representation of service pets. Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll show you why some people think this bill is going too far. That was good. That was good.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe
Cronkite News, weeknights at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Millions of people die every year from drinking dirty water. I would never have felt I had the ability to do something without ASU pushing me. We built filtration systems out of local materials with the people. To see those kids drink clean water for the first time, it's the most rewarding feeling that you can ever have. I went to ASU because I wanted to change the world. The thing I never would have expected is how the world would have changed me.
A proposed bill would make it illegal to misrepresent a pet as a service animal in a business like a restaurant or a store. Cronkite News reporter Mari Nelson explains why some people believe such a law could create a burden for those people with disabilities.
Meg Myers has 2 heart conditions. Her service dog Nala is in training to alert her if she is close to fainting or having a seizure.
Nala's job is going to be to alert to that raise in heart rate, and as well as the drop in blood pressure.
Myers dislikes that some people misrepresent their pets as service dogs. People can buy service vests for their animals online for as little as $30.
So unfortunately, I've actually run into it a lot of times in person as well as heard of it happening, and it's frustrating because service dogs are such an investment.
Myers supports a bill that would fine pet owners $250 for misrepresenting their pet as a service animal and taking the pet into a business. A police officer could issue a ticket for a court appearance where they would have to show a certification for their service animals. But Sarah Cater, attorney for the Arizona Center for Disability Law, thinks it could cause unnecessary interrogation of people with disabilities.
It could have a negative impact because you could have someone with a legitimate service animal, but the person who owns the business doesn't think it is, goes up to them, asks questions that are unlawful, and then calls the police. And we just basically don't think this type of legislation is necessary given the current laws that exist.
Businesses already have the right to remove any animal that's creating an issue, whether that's a service animal or not. Caitlin Durheim trains service dogs. She says some people have certified their service animals while others have not.
And you don't have to have a certification. Basically, all that you need is a certifiable disability. So if you went to a doctor, they would agree that yes, you're disabled and it impacts your life. And then from there, the dog actually needs to do a certain task or a certain thing that helps to mitigate that disability.
But Myers believes that the bill will help people become more accepting when they see service animals.
The public overall will have less of a kind of a skewed view of service dogs because all the ones that have been faking it and aren't well behaved will possibly be removed.
In Phoenix, Mari Nelson, Cronkite News.
As of now, a business owner is only allowed to ask someone with a service animal 2 questions. Is the service animal required because of a disability? And what task has the dog been trained to perform? If someone chooses not to answer truthfully, no action can be taken.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon in the PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, a preview of Poetry Out Loud, a state competition where students are judged on their poetry recitation skills. And meet 3 of the actors from the Arizona Theater Company's production of Low Down Dirty Blues.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, Facebook under fire. I sit down with its #2 executive, Sheryl Sandberg, amidst a storm of questions about the company. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org. They're off.
Murdoch Falls escaped from prison, and we need your help to find him.
In that case, I deem Miss Fisher my honorary constable.
If this bloke's as dangerous as you say...
He is. You were right, Miss Fisher. The question is why?
Remove Miss Fisher's gun from a handbag and escort her to the lockup.
I've been shooting rabbits since I was 12.
No, you haven't, Dottie.
He's baiting me, Bert. Catch me if you can.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
The easiest and best way to support Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
PBS Online. Share, tweet, watch.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
In a time of change, where can you find in-depth reporting and thoughtful analysis? Washington Week on PBS. Join moderator Robert Costa.
When I was at the Capitol this week, I encountered the same.
And a panel of award-winning journalists.
You're seeing a divided nation, and you're seeing
for insights and perspective.
Tonight there was a key development in the Senate.
You won't find anywhere else.
What a week.
Washington Week.